Okay, so let's look at our spelling words for this week. We're on spelling list 11, and we're working on the vowel sound ah. So there are different combinations of letters that can make that sound ah. Okay, so we're going to say these words together and underline the letters that are making the sound. So number 1, this would be talk. So what letters are making that ah sound? Aaliyah? A-L.
I can't find my paper.
There's extras back there.
Okay.
Okay, number 2, cross. So ah is just the O. Good, Kaylee. Number 3, awful.
Ah. The A and the W.
Evangeline?
The
A and the W. Number 4, Allie?
L-A.
Law. So which?
A-W.
A-W. So A-W is making the ah sound. Cloth. Number 5.
Oh, just the O.
Aaliyah. Just the O. Number 6, cost.
The O.
The O. Number 7, crawl. Evangeline? The A-W. Number 8, chalk. Kelsey?
The A-L.
A-L. Number 9, also. Kaylee? A-L. Number 10, raw. Allie?
A-W.
A-W. Number 11, salt. Aaliyah?
A-L.
A-L. Number 12, wall. Kaylee?
A-L.
A-L. 13 is lawn. Evangeline? A-W. 14, always. Evangeline? A-L. Okay, and these are review words, so there's no pattern that we've seen over here. These are just words that we've seen in the past that we're practicing again. Thousand, powder, blouse, and frown. Okay? So those are the O-W sounds that we've practiced. So the sound for this one is O-W. That would be the O-U, O-W, O-U, O-W. Okay? And the challenge words. Squawk. Squawk. What's making that ah sound? Aaliyah? U-A or just A-W? So the U and the Q and the U are actually what's making the Q. So squawk, the A-W. Uh-huh. Squawk is like a bird's sound. Uh-huh. A bird can squawk. Haunt. Kaylee? A-U. Stalk. Javea? A-L. And sauce. Aaliyah? A-U. So we have several different combinations that are making the sound this week. We have A-W, just an O by itself, A-L, A-U. Okay? So the A-U ones, let's circle those. Was there very many of the A-U combination?
Yes.
No, not A-U. Which ones? 20 and 22. So those are the only ones that had the A-U. Okay, so that's all we're going to do with your spelling words today. Later in the week, we will write these 3 times each. So if you want to get ahead on it, you can if you have free time today, but we will do this later in the week, 3 times each, okay? We were just going over the sound and saying the words so you know when I say them out loud for your test on Friday what it's going to sound like. Okay, now we're going to go over our story of the week. Okay, so set your spelling list to the side. Turkey bowl. Okay, here's our book, Turkey Bowl. It is about, I don't know what it's about, but the author is Phil Billner, and it's illustrated by C.F. Payne. Okay, so before we start reading, why do you think this is on the picture or the cover on a book titled Turkey Bowl? What do you think this picture has to do with the title, Turkey Bowl? Bryson?
Because, like, whoever wins the game gets the turkey.
So whoever wins the game gets the turkey? Huh. All right, what do you think, Evangeline?
Like you play a football game, and it's like, whoever wins, they get like a turkey trophy thing.
They could get a turkey trophy? Okay, because it's a football game and they'll get a turkey trophy? What do you think, Kelsey?
I think that, like, they're gonna play it looks like they're playing football, and whoever wins something almost like a trophy.
Okay, anything different than what's already been said? Kaylee?
It's like it's Thanksgiving and they're playing football.
Yeah, Thanksgiving and they're playing football. So Turkey Bowl, when you hear on, y'all probably don't watch college football, but they have bowl games at the end of their season. And if you make it to a bowl game, that means you're really good. Okay, so like they have the Cotton Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the, I can't even remember what all of them are called, but they're called bowl games because they're kind of like the playoffs. You're the best teams playing against the other best teams. Okay, so Turkey Bowl is a play on football, and it may be at Thanksgiving time. That's why it's talking about turkey. Okay, and it's kids playing football. Okay, if I tell you that this story is not true but could be true, what genre would that be? It's not true, but it could be. Do we know what genre that could be?
No.
What do you think, Evangeline? Close. It's not true. So what's a story that's not true?
Fiction.
Fiction. Good. But if it could be, but it's not true, that means it's realistic fiction. Okay? So if it's realistic, that means it could happen and it's not really far-fetched, like a princess floating. That's fiction, but it's not realistic because nobody can float. Okay? So this is fiction. It's not true, but it's realistic because it's something that it could be true. Okay? What do you know about football? Do any of you like playing or watching football?
No.
No?
I hate football.
You hate football?
I don't like
You like watching it?
I don't like watching. I like playing it.
You like playing it. So the boys, most of the boys in here like playing it. Okay.
At home, I play at home with my dad.
Okay, now let's listen to the story and see what it's about. As we're reading, I want you to pay attention to the main character's feelings. That's what we're going to be discussing this week. Character feelings and how they can change throughout the story. Turkey Bowl by Phil Billner, illustrated by C.F. Payne. The first Thanksgiving Ethan could remember when he was just a little boy and certainly not big enough and old enough to play in the annual family turkey bowl. The weather was so frigid they called the turkey bowl the ice bowl. So is the turkey bowl just their own name for a game? Yes, it's like a family tradition, it sounds like. Aunt Yvonne wore so many layers she could barely lift her arms and legs, while Cousin Corey's hair and beard grew frozen stalactites. Ethan, his best friend, Alex, and all the kids from the block shivered and shouted from the first snap to the final score. Another Thanksgiving, when Ethan was still just a little boy and certainly not big enough and old enough to play in the family turkey bowl, the weather was so rainy and wet, they called the turkey bowl the mud bowl. Aunt Amy slid 10 yards for one touchdown, while Cousin Chris splashed 20 more for another. Ethan, Alex, and all the kids from the block chuckled and cheered during every last mud-splattered play. And last Thanksgiving, when Ethan still wasn't quite big enough and old enough to play in the turkey bowl, the weather was so foggy and gray, they called the turkey bowl the fog bowl. On one play, Uncle Zach couldn't figure out which direction to run, while on another play, Cousin Ryan ran right into the goalpost. Ethan, Alex, and all the kids from the block squealed and squinted all game long, even on the plays they could only hear. So it's very foggy, so they called it the fog bowl. What did they call it on the last one?
Mud bowl.
The mud bowl, because it was so muddy. And this one was the ice bowl, because it was so cold. So it seems like year after year, they come up with a new name. But this year, when those first familiar scents of mashed potatoes, candied yams, and macaroni and cheese wafted up the stairs and woke Ethan, he realized the turkey bowl was a whole new ballgame. For the first time, Ethan, Alex, and all the kids from the block were finally big enough and old enough to play. It's here, he declared, slipping into his favorite football jersey and pants. See ya sidelines. It's Ethan time. So there he is, getting ready. Bursting from his bedroom, Ethan scampered down the stairs and stormed into the kitchen. Are you ready for some football? All the wonderful holiday sights welcomed his arrival, the golden turkey and glazed ham waiting their turns for the oven, the bubbling butternut squash soup simmering on the stove, the heaps of cornbread stuffing lining the counter, and of course, Mom, Dad, and Grandpa preparing pie after pie after pie. Key lime, pumpkin, and pecan, one for each family on the block. But the most important holiday ingredient was nowhere to be seen. There's that light. Hey, where is everybody? Ethan asked. I'm afraid Thanksgiving may be a little different this year, Mom said, shaking her head. Because of the snow, many of the roads are closed, added Dad, and the open ones are far too dangerous. Ethan was so disappointed he couldn't even speak. Ethan opened the front door and stepped outside. Through snowflakes the size of golf balls, he gazed at the field at the end of the street. How can we have Thanksgiving without everyone? He pulled off his helmet. How can we play the turkey bowl? Look at all that snow. Ethan headed next door and broke the awful news to his best friend. Then Ethan and Alex trudged from house to house, spreading the word to all the kids from the block. The year we're finally able to play, look what happens, Alex said, slapping his sides. No turkey bowl. Ethan, Alex, and all the kids from the block sat atop the bleachers and stared gloomily at the empty, snow-covered schoolyard. Suddenly, the idea hit Ethan harder than any quarterback, sack, or open field tackle. "Time out," he shouted, leaping off the bleachers. "We can have our own turkey bowl. Just because my relatives aren't here doesn't mean we can't play. We can call it Turkey Bowl 2. Alex jumped down beside him. Ethan, Alex, and all the kids from the block charged from those sidelines onto the frozen tundra, and seconds later, Ethan plowed through a pile for the game's first touchdown. Alex darted through a drift for the game's first interception. And on one white, wacky play, the fumbled football disappeared beneath a mountain of bodies and snow. All afternoon, Ethan, Alex, and all the kids from the block dove for passes and lunged for tackles. Finally, on the last play of the Turkey Bowl, Alex dropped back for a pass and threw a ball. Ethan raced down the sidelines deep in the end zone. He soared high above a defender. Touchdown! Touchdown! Ethan could hardly believe his ears and eyes. Not only had the ball landed in his hands, but Aunt Amy, Cousin Chris, and everyone else was there to see it too. "Everyone made it!" Ethan exclaimed at the family feast. "Of course we made it," his relatives replied. "We can never miss Thanksgiving and Turkey Bowl 2. Okay, so what y'all think of that story? It's pretty good. Does it remind you of your family maybe getting together at Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Yes.
Not really? Yes?
All my family.
You play football when y'all get together?
No.
No?
I don't play football, but you're playing with my cousin.
You play with your cousins? Yeah, maybe not football, but you play with your cousins. Good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is get out your reading notebook, and we're going to look at the feelings of the character Ethan, okay? So get out your reading notebook. Those of you at home, you can be writing stuff in your notebook. Obviously, you won't be able to cut and glue like we are, but you can get out your notebook and write some notes down. Character feelings, okay? So the Turkey Bowl, the main thing we want to get out of this story this week, and actually into next week, we're going to carry this story over into next week too, is the feelings of the characters. And the main character was who?
The boy. Ethan.
Ethan, the boy, okay? So let's look at some examples of feelings characters may feel. Desperate. So if you're desperate, that means you really need something really badly, okay? You're desperate. Regretful. What does regretful mean?
You regret something.
You regret something you did. You wish you could take it back, okay? Proud.
Really excited because he was proud that he made a touchdown.
Proud, you could be excited. You could be happy for something you've done or what somebody else has done. Hopeful.
Hopeful means that something you want to happen.
Good. Something you want to happen. So maybe hopeful means you have a good, positive outlook of something that might happen in the future. Safe. Uneasy. So uneasy means maybe you're kind of not feeling good about something. relieved. Like, phew, I'm so happy that didn't happen. So relieved means thank goodness that didn't happen, or you feel like a sense of calm because something did or didn't happen. Confused, anxious, lonely, jealous, angry, upset, embarrassed, surprised, terrified, amused. Amused is like you're entertained by something. So if I'm amused, then that means something is entertaining or made me laugh. Nervous, elated. Woo, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Like when you're sad.
No, not sad. The opposite.
Happy.
Very, very happy. So elated means you're super happy and you're excited. Okay? So elated means excited or very happy. Giddy. If you're giddy, that means kind of the same thing. You're excited, kind of happy that something is about to happen. Shocked, thrilled, abandoned, or disappointed. What is abandoned? How can you feel abandoned?
Abandoned means.
Yes.
Abandoned means when like somebody like, let me give you something. Like if somebody was on my team at a game, and it's like betrayed, but
Kind of like betrayed, so you would feel not good, right? It's not a good thing. So to feel abandoned means you felt left alone.
they left you alone.
Yes.
In a place.
Good. So abandoned means you would feel like you were left out or left alone. What can cause feelings to change? So this is what we're going to need to be focusing on too. Other characters can cause your feelings to change. So did the other characters cause Ethan's feelings to change in the story?
Yes.
Yeah, because his family didn't show up, so that caused him to have a different feeling. Other characters' words.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Did something they say make him feel a different way?
Yeah.
What?
He said it snowed too much. I'm afraid we're not going to get to have a turkey.
Okay, so when they told him it snowed too much, we're not going to get to have the turkey bowl, or the rest of the family won't be here, then that made his feelings change. Time. Over time, you may either feel better about something, or over time, you might feel a little bit sad about something. Okay, so time can make feelings change. New situations. So, for example, maybe you had a rough start to the school year because it was a lot of new stuff going on. You were doing remote learning, and now that things are new again. You had a new class. You're back in school. So maybe that new situation made you feel something different because it went from you working at home to now working at school. So that can make your feelings change. Okay? So we're going to write the story that we talked about this week. It's called Turkey Bowl. And what genre was Turkey Bowl?
I forgot it.
We said it was not true, so it was fiction. But it had some things in there that made it sound like it could happen.
Realistic fiction.
There you go, realistic. We could relate to it because it wasn't like really far-fetched, made-up stuff. So it's a realistic fiction because it's something that's not true but could happen. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just focus on Ethan and his feelings of the story. So feeling number 1. So if I look back at the beginning of the story, Ethan is kind of reminiscing about turkey bowls and ice bowls and mud bowls, all of the family football games, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think he's feeling then?
Sad because he didn't get to play.
At the beginning he's sad? He's not sad yet. he is actually it sounds like he's almost very anxious and excited about what's going to happen because he knows every year they get to play football. And he loves to play football with his family, right? And his neighborhood friends. So to me, he kind of sounds like he's feeling a little bit of anxiousness. He is anxious to get to play in another football game. So we could say anxious or excited. He has a feeling of like nostalgia where he's looking back on memories. And he's having a good feeling about all the old past football games that he got to play in.
Is there like a lot of when you buy a book and they're like chapter books and they all come together? Is that
Oh, like a series of these? I don't know. So feeling number 2. So here he is. He's getting ready to come down the stairs. He's getting on his favorite football jersey and pants. See ya at the sidelines. It's Ethan time. And then he's coming down the stairs, still very excited and ready to go, right? And then all of a sudden, what happens? They told him the bad news. He realizes his family's not there. We're missing a very important holiday ingredient. Was nowhere to be seen.
But they really did come.
So, maybe sad? What's another word? If I feel like let down and I was expecting something and then all of a sudden I didn't get that. What's a feeling that might describe that? Javea? Abandoned? No, not abandoned. If I feel happy and then all of a sudden somebody tells me, well, I can't do that, then I might feel what, Evangeline? Unhappy. Starts with a D is what I'm thinking of. Disappointed. I'm going to be very disappointed if I'm looking forward to that football game and all my family coming and then I'm told that, oh, by the way, they're not coming. I'm very disappointed. So we're trying to branch out from the sad, mad, happy feelings. Trying to make it more 3rd grade level, okay? So disappointed because his family isn't going to make it. Feeling number 3. Okay, so then he's anxious and excited, then he's disappointed, and then what happens?
He's happy again.
He's happy again. Well, let's think of a different word, though. We're trying to break away from happy, sad, mad. Huh?
Glad.
He's glad. So he actually gets to play football. So he's excited about that. He scores a touchdown, and then even more exciting things happen because
His family arrived and
His family went.
yep. He could hardly believe his ears and eyes. Not only had the ball landed in his hands, but Aunt Amy, Cousin Chris, and everyone else was there to see it too. Okay? Everyone made it, Ethan exclaimed at the family feast.
He was
glad.
He's very glad. So on the feelings page, there was a word that we talked about that made thrilled. Javea? On the feeling? Shocked. That's a good one because he was very surprised, wasn't he? Was he elated?
yes.
Yes, elated. We talked about that. So we could say elated. You could say surprised because he turned around and heard his family behind him cheering. So he was surprised and elated at the end. Okay, so keep these feelings in mind, because tomorrow we're going to kind of do a drawing and summarize how his feelings changed in the story. Okay, so I'll let you use this journal entry tomorrow when we're writing about his feelings. Okay? If you're done writing, you can go ahead and put that to the side. And now we're going to look at the vocabulary words for the week. Okay? Okay, so turkey bowl. Gazed. So in the story, he is gazing out at the snow. Here, let's go back to where it says. He gazed at the field at the end of the street. So gazed means what? Looked. Yeah, he's looking. To look steadily or stare. Trudged. Have we heard that word before? Yes. So to walk in a heavy way. Like it's hard, like you're going uphill. Simmering.
To cook something so that it is
Almost boiling. Okay, so have y'all seen a pot of water where it starts to kind of bubble a little bit? That's simmering. Okay, so he was talking about a pot of soup simmering on the stove.
Yeah, I've seen it today. My mom I used to make my own pizza.
Yep. Okay, declared. Declared means to announce or to say strongly. So in the story, they use that word and it means to just say something strongly or to announce it. Annual. You heard that word before?
Yes. And like an annual thing, something like
it's an annual turkey bowl.
Annual turkey trot at school. That means we do it when? Every year. So when somebody says this is the 3rd annual turkey trot, that means we've done it for the 3rd year. So every year. Annual means happening once every year. Frigid. Sit still, please. Sit still. Frigid. What does frigid mean? Yes.
Like it's very cold and freezing.
Freezing. Very, very cold. Okay, so remember when he's talking about the weather, how they can't play, it's because it's so cold and it's snowy out there. It's too cold. Wafted.
I know.
To move lightly through the air. Scampered. To run or move quickly. So what can you picture when you think of scampered?
Run.
Kind of run.
Pacing.
Pacing. Pacing just means kind of walking, but scampered is quickly, like quick little steps. Gloomily.
Speed walking.
If it's gloomy, it is kind of sad, right? If it's gloomily, that means they feel sad without hope. Okay? So he looked gloomily out over the football field. That means he's looking sadly, right? Out over the football field. Okay? The next word, heaps. Heaps. Yes.
A large pile of things.
Got a large pile of things. So heaps. If you have heaps of laundry to fold, that means you've got large piles of things. A large pile of laundry. A heap of laundry. Cloud. To move through, over, or across in a forceful and steady way. So if I'm plowing a field, then that means I'm mowing over it forcefully in a steady way. Okay? Feast. And the last one Should be pretty simple.
A special meal with a large amount of food and drink.
Yes, and we actually saw that in the last story too, didn't we?
And
Feast is a big, large meal, and it's usually a special gathering, okay?
Everybody has a feast every Thanksgiving, or it can be early, but we have a feast.
Yep, so a feast is a Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving feast means special, large gathering.
Or festival.
Okay, so we've gone over our vocabulary words. We've read the story for the week. We've talked about the feelings of the character. So tomorrow what we're going to do is do more of a writing assignment to go with their story. And we'll be looking more closely at his feelings again. Okay, that's our focus for the week. The feelings of the character. Okay, so now what I want you to do before we go to specials, you may get with a partner and practice your vocabulary words for the next 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, those of you at home, you may do the same thing with a parent, or you can study on your own, or have a sibling or other relative quiz you on the vocabulary words and just practice going over them for today. Okay?